Is this the country the founders envisioned? Raised voices, shouted disagreements, heated objections. Am I describing last week's football games? Actually, no. This contentious scene of debate describes the gathering that fostered in the birth of our great nation, the United States of America. When our founders gathered together during the unbearably hot and humid summer of 1787 in Philadelphia, they were working on something radical. Our Constitution, a document unlike any ever written before. Its wide guarantees of rights and liberties was unprecedented in the 18th century world. Our founders vigorously debated in Philadelphia for 4 months and persevered through compromise to write our Constitution. These visionaries of a democratic nation had no way of foreseeing how long their newfound experiment would last. Above all else, our founders put their faith into a new nation born of hope and freedom. 233 years later, the Constitution of the United States remains. The words of our founders endure. Right now, in an era of divisiveness and partisan conflict, we must remember that our Constitution has not faltered. Everyone in this nation is afforded the same rights and liberties given to them under the Constitution, no matter who holds power or which party controls Congress. Yes, I believe that America is still the country our founders envisioned. Looking back at our nation's history, we must remember all that America has endured and overcome. Perhaps no time was more difficult than the Civil War, in which the nation was split so deeply over the issue of slavery that it took 4 long years and 1 million casualties to finally end it. Abraham Lincoln so believed in keeping our United States together that he sacrificed his life for our country. It is in these darkest days that we are called upon to remember the vision and the hope that our founders had for America. Their perseverance and compromise serve as a reminder to us that we as a nation must join together to work out our differences for the good of us all and our future. The hope of our founders must continue in all of us. Nowhere do we see the founders' vision of hope more brightly than in our nation's courageous veterans and military personnel. They continue to carry the torch of hope and freedom our founders envisioned. It is at our most troubled times in America that we look to our veterans to shine the light of hope for us. Our veterans defended America through 2 world wars, the wars in Korea and Vietnam, the Gulf War, the September 11 terrorist attacks, and the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. Our soldiers bravely rise whenever and wherever they are needed. The hope of our founders shines on in our great veterans. My great-grandfather was a World War I veteran. Although I never met him, I feel like I know him from reading the diary he kept when he served in the Navy in 1918 and 1919. He served on a submarine chaser off the coast of Europe. In his diary, he writes of homesickness and seasickness and the constant stress of never knowing where the enemy may be lurking in the dark waters of the vast ocean. One of the last entries in his journal is dated May 5th, 1919. A loud explosion rocked the ship, and he found himself dodging falling debris. He was okay, but later that hour he learned that several of his shipmates were badly burned, and his friend Blakely had been killed in the explosion. Despite the hardship and tragedy, my great-grandfather's diary also shines with the pride he felt in his mission with the Navy. The hope of our founders lived on in him as he defended America and freedom in the world. Amidst the pandemic that we are currently facing, every day we see Americans rise up and make sacrifices for others and for their country. Our medical personnel have bravely battled for their patients' lives around the clock. First responders tirelessly answer the call to help their fellow Americans no matter how dire the situation. Firefighters in the West continue to battle unprecedented wildfires as they save the lives of countless Americans. Here in our hometown, we can all join together to help each other at this great time of need. food pantries need donations, and we can all lend and a helping hand and a kind heart is always welcome. Our founders would be pleased to see their radical experiment in liberty and self-government not only still exists, but continues to serve as a beacon of hope to the world. The hope of our founders continues on in all of us.